I want this pen. Could I have this pen, please? Can you feel the difference between these two sentences? Yes, there is a difference, and the difference is in the tone of these two sentences. When I'm saying I want this pen, I sound a little bit dominant. I sound a little bit harsh or rude. But when I'm saying, could I have this pen, please? I sound more polite. So you may be wondering that why I am saying all these things today. Hey, I am Kaushik and you are watching Kaushik's Everyday English. In today's lesson, you will learn how to politely speak in English. Actually, what happens, the English learners, they give more concentration on the structure of the sentence, they focus more on the grammatical errors, and they always try to speak without any grammatical errors. But at that time, they forget to focus on the tone of their voice. Yes, that is also an important thing in English. And not only in English, in any language. Whenever you speak, you should sound polite. You should not sound rude. You shouldn't sound harsh. So, today we are going to learn certain ways in which we can make our English sound polite. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Let's move on to the first sentence. I want a pizza. Now, when you are saying I want a pizza, it sounds a little bit harsh, as if you are ordering someone. Say, for example, if you tell someone, I want a burger or I want a pizza, in that case, you sound to be a little bit impolite. It seems as if you are ordering someone or you are commanding someone to bring a burger for you. And in that case, the other man may get offended and he may not bring that pizza for you. So you can say this in a little bit polite way. So how can you say this? You can say, could you please get me a pizza? Could you please get me a pizza? So see, this sounds more polite. Or you can also say, I'll have a burger or I'll have a pizza. This you can say when you are asked, what do you want to eat or what do you want to have? If someone asks you, what do you want to have? In reply, you can tell him or her, I'll have a pizza or I'll have whatever you want to have. But don't say, I want a pizza, because that sounds a little bit impolite, rude, and harsh. Let's move on to the next sentence. Send me the document. When you were saying send me the document, you really sound a little bit rude. It seems again as if you are commanding or ordering someone. Say, for example, at your office, if you tell one of your colleagues, send me the document, the colleague may feel insulted by your harsh tone. So, you have to keep in mind that you have to be very polite while speaking in English. So, in order to sound more polite, instead of saying send me the document, you can say, could you please send me the document? Could you please? So over here, you sound more polite. Or there is another way of saying this in a polite way. I'll need this document. I'll need this document. So whenever you say like this, the other person will understand that you actually want that document and he has to send you the document. So never start a sentence with a verb. Follow this sentence over here. Send me the document. So send is a verb. So don't start a sentence with a verb like go away, come here, stand there. These are all verbs, and if you start your sentences with verbs like this, you will sound harsh, you will sound rude. So avoid starting your sentence with verbs like this. Let's move on to the next sentence, go away. Now this sounds again rude. Now when do you say something like this, go away, leave me alone? You say this when you are angry with someone, right? But this you can't say to a person who wants to talk to you, but say for example you don't have time, you are busy at that time and you are not in a position to spend time with the other person. So at that time if you tell him go away or leave me alone, he may feel insulted. So instead of saying go away or leave me alone, you can tell him in a polite way, I am a little busy, can we talk later? So see, when I'm saying like this, the person will understand that you are really busy and you are not able to talk now. So you are telling him that can we talk later? So this is a more polite way of saying. Or you can say I'll get back to you. I'm a little busy now, I'll get back to you. So these are the polite ways of speaking in English. Let's move on to the next sentence. Tell me when you are available. Now, is there anything wrong in this sentence? No, it's grammatically correct. The structure is also correct. There is nothing wrong in this sentence. Yes, actually there is nothing wrong in this sentence. But if you say this, you will sound a little bit rude, a little bit harsh. But as I've told you that don't ever start a sentence with a verb. Tell me. If you start a sentence with a verb, you will definitely sound rude. You will definitely sound harsh. So instead of starting the sentence with a verb, tell me when you are available, that means you want to know at what time the other person will be free so that you could meet him or you could call him, something like that. So instead of saying tell me when you are available, you can say let me know. Let me know when you are available. I'll call you, right? So let me know is a more polite way of telling him that tell me when you are available. So instead of saying tell me, you can use let me know. Here is the next sentence for you. You are wrong. Now, is there any mistake in this sentence? No, this sentence has got no grammatical error. It's perfectly okay. But again, the problem is that if you say you are wrong, say for example, somebody has done wrong and you are telling him that you are wrong, you will sound harsh. You will sound rude. So instead of saying you are wrong, you can say this very same thing in a little bit roundabout way, right? In a more polite way rather. You can tell him, I think you are mistaken. So instead of saying you are wrong, you know that he is wrong, he or she is wrong. But to tell him or her directly on the face is not good. So you should avoid that. And instead of that, you can say, I think you are mistaken. So this is a more polite way of saying, I think you are mistaken. Let's move on to the next sentence. That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. Now, say for example, your friend or your colleague has given you an idea which you may not have liked. And at that time, if you tell him or her that's a bad idea, you will sound rude, and the other person may get offended, may get hurt. Right? So always you have to keep in your mind that whenever you speak, you must sound polite. So this thing, that instead of saying it's a bad idea, this thing can be said in a more polite way if you say that I think it's not a good idea. You're meaning the same. It's not a good idea means it's a bad idea. But whenever you are using bad, the negative term, you sound harsh, you sound more rude. So instead of using that negative term, you can say something like this, I think it's not a good idea. Let's move on to the next sentence. Your work is not good. Now, think of a situation that in a classroom, the teacher is telling a weak student that your work is not good. Now, if the teacher says this, the teacher will sound harsh. And if he or she directly tells the student in front of the whole class that your work is not good, the student may feel demotivated. The student may feel discouraged, which the teacher is not supposed to do. So instead of directly telling him or her that your work is not good, the teacher can say this in a more polite term, that I think your work needs improvement. I think your work needs improvement. So that also means that the student's work is not up to the mark, or it's not satisfactory, or it's not good. But instead of using a more harsh tone, that if it is said, or if it can be said like this, that I think your work needs improvement, that also means that your work is not good, it needs improvement. Let's move on to the last sentence of today's session. I don't like the color of this shirt. Say for example, your friend has bought a shirt and he shows that shirt to you and asks you if the color is good or not, and you don't like that color. So at that time, if you tell him directly on his face that I don't like the color of this shirt, you may sound rude. Because after all, your friend has bought this shirt, he has spent money, and after that, if he comes to know that the color is very bad, he may get hurt. So instead of saying that I don't like the color of this shirt, you can say this in a more polite way. You can say, I am not fond of the color of this shirt. I am not fond of the color of this shirt. Fond also means like, right? So when you are saying I am not fond of, you mean that you don't like that color. But instead of saying don't like directly, you are saying it in an indirect way, because that will sound more polite. So you can say, I'm not fond of the color of this shirt. So friends, this is for today, and I hope you have learned how to speak politely in English, because that is very important, that whenever you speak you must be polite. You may not say anything which may offend the other person, which may hurt the other person. So that you have to keep in mind. So I hope after watching today's video, you will apply these polite expressions in your daily conversation, so that from now onwards you also sound very polite. So, if you like today's session, you know what you have to do. What? Yes, subscribe to my channel, give a like, make comments, and click the all notification button, so that whenever I upload video you get the notification first. So tomorrow I'll be back again with a new session, with a new lesson to learn. Till then, stay safe, love your family, love your parents, and love yourself. Bye.